a fallen angel, an adversary to mankind, an outcast that was made of fire, or just a mythical figure to help humans cope with their evil nature. The concept of Satan is pretty much straightforward and easy to understand. A creature, whether an angel, a man, or anything else, whose business is to deceive humans into doing bad and to lead them away from God. Religiously, we know him almost from the very beginning of our existence. But if we want to look from a historical perspective, we should go far back in time to around 150 BCE in ancient Iran. In Zoroastrianism, the god is Ahura Mazda, the semi-omnipotent being that is made of light and is the source of all good in the world. On the opposite side, there is Ahriman or Ahriman, who is pure darkness and the source of all evil. Although Ahriman will be defeated at the end, he is still a very, very powerful godlike being and is much closer to his rival Ahura Mazda in terms of power compared to Abrahamic God and evil duel, which isn't really even a duel since Satan is pretty much non-existent when compared to the Abrahamic God. So Ahriman is the first image we created for the face of evilness. But modern interpretations is heavily based on the three Abrahamic religions, and most exclusively Christianity, which portrays Lucifer as the main bad guy. Islam, more or less, has the same view in that part, but the other one has other opinions. According to Jewish beliefs, Satan is not an adversary of God, but an adversary to humans. He is not an enemy. He's not a rebel. He's an angel, not a fallen one, but one who is a divine tester. He tempts us to do bad things, but he hopes that we do not follow him. The main focus of the battle of the good versus evil is in Satan, but the concept of Yasser Hara, which is extremely similar to Nafs al-Ammara in Islam, that I will explain later. Yasser Hara are the motivations and desires that push us to do evil, but they're not inherently bad things. Hunger, sexual desires, wanting power, or wanting to be famous can all be considered part of Yasser Hara. And we can clearly see that the examples I gave you can go both ways. Someone who truly detached from mortal desires will not do anything at all. You will not feed yourself if you have no desire to eat. So the ultimate battle is to control Yasser Hara, not destroying it. Since in Judaism there is no big bad ones, there will be no prophecy about what will happen to it either. I mean, duh. Finally, we're in the place that is probably most familiar to most of us, even if we were not from this faith. Satan, we know as Lucifer, is in cartoons, comics, movies, books, arts, games, and more. All you see as the devil is either a direct inspiration from the morning star or has some roots in it. Three major Catholic churches have slightly different approaches to what exactly that dude is. For example, the Catholic Church has methods of exorcism. Thus, they believe in the ability of Satan, or demons in general, to possess people's bodies. The soul remains untouched, but anyways. Or in another example, some Protestants believe that the Satan is a metaphor, and our battle with him is spiritual and within ourselves, regardless of interpretations. The history follows like this. Satan is Lucifer, once a high-ranking and well-respected angel. He was beautiful, powerful, and wise. But those great features were the same one that led him to corruption. He saw himself worthy of being worshipped. Pride blinded him and made him the enemy of God. And we, as the God's best creation, were the greatest revenge target for Satan. So he deceived us in the Garden of Eden, and all those serpent and apple stuff happened. Fast forward to future. Satan is still trying to lead us to hell. God didn't destroy him after his rebellion because God values free will and the option to choose your path. Even if the path leads to hell, Satan will be punished eventually and his doom is prophesied. By the way, the whole king of the hell thing about Satan is not canonical in the faith. and is just an artistic adaptation at best. Satan will not rule hell. He will burn in it, just like other fallen souls. Unlike Christianity and Judaism, Islam doesn't see Satan as an angel. Muslims know Satan as Iblis. He's a jinn, not a jinn. They don't believe in evil walking pants. Jinn are a type of creature like human, who is by Islamist view were made out of smokeless fire, while humans were made out of clay. Jinns are not necessarily evil. They could be, but not necessarily, just like us. That dude, Iblis, was amongst the angels because of years of praying and obeying God. But when the time came, Adam was created. God commanded the angels to bow to him. Frustration to be specific. And the Iblis was there and supposed to obey God's command. But he got jealous and his ego began to destroy him. Satan said, I'm better than him. You created me from fire, and him you created from clay. So God banished him for his disobedience. Iblis, who now has the title of Shaitan, aka Satan, asked God to delay his punishment so he could deceive mankind. God agreed, and Satan made an oath to doom humans and lead them to hell as much as he can. There are some details worth mentioning about the Islamic perspective. One is that Shaitan is a title that will be given to anyone. We have Shaitan amongst humans and jinn alike. Iblis is the guy. The time that is given to Satan is not until the end of the world, but until the savior of humanity, Al-Mahdi, comes and deals with him once and for all. And last but not least, if you remember at the start, I talked about Yasir Hara and its equivalent in Islam, Nafs al-Ammara, which is an evil commanding soul that is within every one of us, just like Judaism. But we're supposed to fight it rather than changing its direction, unlike Judaism. So even without Satan, the battle of good and evil will still exist. If you're interested in what if scenarios, here will be the best part for you. Satanism can be categorized into two main groups: theistic and atheistic Satanism. In theistic point of view, Satan was the one who was telling us the truth all along, and he was trying to liberate us and give us immortal life and other cool stuff, I guess. So they took the what if scenario a little too seriously, and they started to believe in him and worship him and aid him at the battle against God somehow. On the other hand, the atheistic view, also known as Lawain Satanism, I have no idea if I pronounced it right, doesn't actually believe there is such a thing as God nor Satan. They use Satan as a symbol against religion and authority in general. They see Lucifer as a symbol of rebellion, wisdom, individualism, and critical thinking. Basically, they hated religion, so they take the main bad guy of religion and pretend to worship him just to unbelievers. For them, symbolizing Satan is a middle finger thrown at Abrahamic religion and the whole idea of religions. The majority of atheists and their representatives see Satan as an excuse for man's heinous crimes, or an easy answer to our complex morality. You did something, and you don't like that you did it, and you don't know why you did it. It's pretty much easy. Satan tempted you. Case closed. For them, Abrahamic religions are just like other myths. Definitely more complex and structured than something like Nordic, Egyptian, or Greek mythology. And they have their uses from time to time. But at the end of the day, it falls at the category of not true things. So it doesn't matter for them that they exist. At the end of the day, we can't ignore the fact that humans do terrible things, whether caused by some supernatural being that forced us to do it, or by ancient tempter who led us, or by something within ourselves. In all those scenarios, the action was done and the harm was caused. The eternal battle never stopped. Whatever you believe, I just want to ask all humans, just try to be better.